So, rushing buildings, rushing constructions, unpredictabilities. Many years ago, my dad did a job in Serpentine Avenue, kind of the back of AIB, heading into Sandymount, and there was a shop in there, a bakery shop, and they were doing an extension, and it took forever. And the reason it took forever was because the depth of the foundations had to keep going down and down and down and down and down and down. And we fastly learned why Sandymount was called Sandymount, because it was built upon sand, reclaimed land. So, and it was amazing. Eventually we got to a stage where there was enough, and the architect, who was old school and very abrasive, so we put down double or triple net, may even put down a metal cage system, reinforcement cage system, to make sure we had, it's nearly like a mini raft foundation. But we didn't know what we were exploring until we went down, and my father put in a lot of due diligence into it to make sure it was right. And then he put in a payment request, and the architect actually said no, point blank, wouldn't pay. It wasn't in the drawings, he didn't see it, and he was on site and he saw it, but it was old school abrasiveness. So oh goodness. So he went on in, and I think Fran had about 7 or 8 guys on the job site. Next thing, it was down to 1, and the homeowner he wasn't a homeowner, but the client was away on holidays, no communications, and he came back and very little had been done. And he rang up my father, and he said to him, what's going on? He said, well, I'm fulfilling my contract. And there was holy war. So he hadn't been paid, and Fran decided that he would fulfill his legal obligations, leave one man, let his string out. And it kind of metaphorically, foundations are not just physical, but they're emotional, they are relationship, they are the cornerstones of growth and development, and it's the first thing we all try to instill in our children, and it's the same conceptually or metaphysically or physically or emotionally. So emotions were high, energy was in flux. The client called up to my father to see him. They went, I think they might have gone for a walk actually. The client was a lovely, such a decent, lovely, very funny man, absolute wonderful human being, very charming, very intelligent. Boy, did he work hard. So he agreed to pay in full, no questions asked. He rang up the architect. He actually demanded that the fees were reduced because of the time delay from the architect. More holy war. So that was my last. That was the last project my father did for that architect, and he kept coming back trying to give more work. But it was about toxicness. He was trying to screw him. The basis of trust was gone. And while I'm a big believer in not being naive, but I'm also a huge believer in trust, but I'm a huge believer in building trust. Huge. I cannot emphasize that. If you go into an adversary relationship with a builder, especially early on, it's going to drag out and it's going to be difficult. And it is the cornerstone of the project. Maybe boring, maybe not exciting, maybe dirty, maybe thankless, and then it's hidden up. But as every parent knows, this is often the due diligence that we have to do with our kids too. All the hard work that is forgotten. as we forget what our parents did for us until we're older and we're reflecting back with a margin of wisdom and a huge quantum of appreciation. So, to get the foundations right, you need to understand specs, need to understand the site, you need to understand what needs to go into it, you need to understand things from a Six Sigma management situation. In other words, what does the builder want? So if you understand these things physically, that's fine, it's not needed. That's not a homeowner's role. But if you understand them psychoanalytically, psychologically, socially, and you can harmonise and perceive what the builder wants from his side, and I'm not talking about being passive, actually far from it, I'm talking about being active and building relationships. And just actually finished a couple of jobs, to utterly and completely amazing women who were brilliant at this. One of them, both of them did it instinctively. I think one of them kind of was just her disposition. Such a very, very funny, cool lady. And the other lady, just as cool, just as funny. Actually, maybe even sharper wit. But she kind of knew what she was doing slightly. She knew that she had to have harmonious relationships with the builder, even though occasionally she'd clench a fist and shake it at him and she laughed her head off making jokes. So I cannot emphasize that enough. It's like there's no demonization or dehumanization or alienization or segregation. Builders are just humans, and unfortunately the manuals and the informations and the books that are written and the bad versions of the stories catch fire rather than the nice quiet stories of the version. So building relationships is fundamental, and if you want to save money, that's the quickest way to save money. Build relationships based upon great foundations.